So admittedly, when I first read the headline, two Ontario residents lose 90,000 to private investing, I was thinking that it had to do with private mortgages because private investing you don't really hear about it too often. But that being said, I mean one of it did have to do with mortgage lending, and then the other one had to do with well, as you can see here, this lady, she lent some money to a business. It was brokered through, I'm guessing it was an unlicensed individual. And then, yeah, she just lost the money. Basically, it was stolen from her. That's the way I would put it. She lent $30,000 to a landscaping company, and she was expecting to get $3,000 in addition to the $30,000 she handed out to them, and she got nothing. She got nothing in return. They gave her $0 back, and yeah, and it was a promissory note, which is meaningless. I mean, she can take it to small claims court and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, when you see stuff like this and you think to yourself, okay, well, I think there's an opportunity to make a little bit of money or whatever. The answer is no, you can't do it. Like the reason they're going to you is because they can't qualify at a bank, and the reason they can't qualify at the bank is because the risk they're presenting is too high. And in order for you to be able to properly underwrite the loan to these individuals, you have to go through like a credit check, right? Like you have to go through a process to understand the credit worthiness of their business. What's the likelihood of you getting your money back? Are you securing it against any sort of property? Why not? And then there's so many factors to take into consideration. You can't just be lending out your hard-earned money to these individuals because you're not going to see it come back. Even if, in the best case scenario, is they genuinely attempted to give her money back, and they weren't trying to scam her, which I think there's evidence that there's a scam just based on how she's describing the situation. There's a high likelihood of a business going bankrupt, business going bust. You're just not seeing that money come back. And the idea that you're going to get all of your money back plus the $3,000. I mean, what's the likelihood of that? How many sales need to be made in order for that to be accomplished in a span of what was it, 3 months? So they have to be able to recoup the $30,000 plus an additional 3,000 plus all the additional money that, because they're not just going to give you everything back and be at zero, right? So what's all of the factors that goes into returning your money? I get it. In this situation, she's a little bit older, maybe less sophisticated than you need to be. And maybe she doesn't have necessarily a lot of money, and the money that she does have, she's put into, maybe something, maybe she's sitting in her bank, it's making whatever, the 1-2% a year, and she's thinking to herself, okay, well, here's an opportunity for me to make some real money. And this is why you gotta just, have good relationships with your folks because there's always somebody out there trying to steal from them. There's always a predator. There's just all these predators that are out there trying to take something from you, trying to take something from your loved ones, and yeah, you gotta protect them from that. And then private lending. There was another one here. Nick, he was yeah, he invested in $60,000 private lending to, this was a development in which city was this? Anyways, it doesn't even matter where the city is. But the fact of the matter is, he gave the $60,000 to this to some organization to do development. Development is risky. Development is risky. Like there are some very established developers that have the process down and they just produce developments on a regular basis because they're just so sophisticated. And then there's low, people that are trying at their hand at it, and it's not easy, right? I mean, the founder of Mattamy Homes, he went bankrupt on his first when he was first doing his development, getting into the process. But I mean, not obviously not like the company's massive now, but just to give you a sense of how difficult it is. He had to go through that failure in order to establish that very large company. So when you give your money to these people, either it's going to be registered against some property, you secure it so that you have the ability to get the money back. You can force the sale of the asset, or don't do it. And really, what I'm saying is don't do it. That's not even investment advice. Like just don't do it. Speak with an investment advisor. Make sure you're not putting yourself at any undue risk. Your money is hard fought. Like you do so much to get the money that you have, right? You don't want to let it just slip through your fingers like that. And please, don't let your family fall into these traps as well. So, anyways, I just thought this was something interesting. Caught my eye because it said private lending. Didn't really fall into my wheelhouse, but I thought it was interesting regardless. 'Cause I just hate scams. I hate scammers. Hate scams. All right.